It's Empty Folder, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Let's dive into my Season 10 boss killer. How I managed to build a tier 2 Ratma killer and a tier 2 Declone killer with only one gear swap without changing any of my charms. And stay tuned until the end. So I'm gonna give you one of the best tips, if not the best tip that you can have for bossing and how I learned the hard way. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's talk about skills. We use two skills here. One of them is going to be Charge, the other one is going to be Holy Sword. Holy Sword is our defensive passive skill, and Charge is our main DPS. We use Holy Sword just because it's absolutely broken. Parry chance is by far one of the best defensive mechanics in Diablo 2, Project Diablo 2. It's basically like Assassin's Claw Block, but on steroids. In Diablo 2, Assassin's Claw Block can block, let's say, fireballs, physical projectiles, melee hits, which is great. But Holy Swords and Parry can actually also mitigate the little ticks of damage over time, which can be huge. It does have diminishing returns the more skill you put in it, but in our gear builds, I'll show you how we get over that. Everything's pretty straightforward. We use Fanaticism to get extra damage and reach our Yas frames. We use Vigor because it's a bonus for charge, and that's pretty much it. For stats, we just use Strength and Dexterity to use our gear, and with them pressed in Vitality. As you probably may already suggest, Vitality is crucial for any tier 2 boss killer. While you can do less Vitality for tier 0 or tier 1 for each one of the bosses, it's absolutely crucial you have a lot of life. Let's get to the gear. This build actually is tinkered around this sword. That's a sword guard. It's an exceptional unique sword that we upgraded to a Colossus plate, and the most interesting part about this sword is that it has 40% increased chance of blocking. Now remember when I told you that Parry had diminishing returns with the skills? Well, 10% increased chance of blocking brings us with 2% Parry, which is actually one hard point in Holy Sword, which is pretty much 4 skills, 4 hard points into Holy Sword with this one. You'll see throughout our gear that we focus a lot on the increased chance of blocking slumps, and this is what makes it good. So we have IAS and ED jewels in this with a sword rune. Then we have as best as possible PDR V-Gaze. Here, 3 open socket with 3 jack runes, or even better, a slam with 2 jack runes. Jack runes is best in slots. This is actually a gift from Sundown. Thank you, buddy. This is 10 ICB and ED desecrated High Lords. One of the niche items that was really hard to get until the end was this Guardian Angel. With very important for it is to have 8% PDR slum and as much as possible max resistances. As you can see, it also brings us with 20% increased chance of blocking, which is also another 4% parry. Now we move to Ghoul Hide. Here we need the 10% increased attack speed so we can reach our breakpoints, and the attack rating against undead is very helpful against some of the adds for the bosses. Life is great, it could have been better, but this is what we got. Boots, we get water walks, as much as life as possible, and as well you can also see again 10% increased chance of blocking. Belt, the same slam, it's Verdungo with 14% PDR. We actually reach our maximum, so 14%, 15% doesn't really matter. We need a Raven Frost with attack rating Slam, and one of the hardest rings that we could get, and one of the harder rings that we'll be able to get in Season 11 is going to be Nature's Peace, just because this is best in slots item for all tier 2 bossers, whether it's Diclone, Ratma, or Lucian. We get pretty decent damage. Damage is not very high, but it's decent, although we get a lot of defenses. As you can see, fire resistances should be at absolute maximum. We don't really need cold resistances here or poison. It's nice to have lightning resistances, but I chose to keep it at 83. And this actually comes off resist fire. As any other tier 2 bosser, we are trying to get as much as vitality as possible from our small Annie. We're trying to get as much as vitality as possible from the torch, and the rest of the gear is pretty straightforward. We're trying to mix and fill up our resistances, and maximum life on these small charms is absolutely crucial. Once we fill up our resistances to the maximum and our defenses, we're trying to get damage and attack rating. As you can see, I have some 218s, 216, doesn't have to be 320s, but if you can afford it, that's great. One Grand Charm that also gonna bring this. Pretty valuable, 40 life, 30 fire res, 35 life and 15 O-res, and so on and so forth. As you can see, we have a big mix and match of resistances and attack rating. I can share my builds in the description below, so you can check it out in more detail. Let's talk about our Ratma setup. I'll swap gear and I'll go over it. I would like to note that here we don't have to change any of the skills, we don't have to respec, we don't have to change anything. The only thing that we change actually is for tier 3 Lucian is we put a Thunder God's belts and some light resistance cruncher. That's it. And we can actually do tier 2 without it, but let's have it. Let's change the aura. There you go. Now it feels better. So this is actually my trophy from season 10. This is my very hard sort of Tombbringer. I was able actually to get this. It was pretty hard. As far as I remember, that was the slam that I was looking for, with also good rolls that had ED and increased attack speed on that tier. And that wasn't an Ethereal base. I hit the 4 sockets with the P-box, and then I used the vial. And rest is history. I put some min-max damage with ED, and there you go. One of the best Doombringer swords on the server. There is nothing much to talk about this. This is absolutely insane damage for any build. 800 to 1021 maximum damage with average of over 900 is just insane. We have a maximum life of 14%, as you can see, which is also huge. And weaken, that doesn't really do as much. The bosses, you can't really curse the bosses, only for fraction of a second. The next thing, which is also best in slots, is to O-skill Andario's Visage with 3 sockets for 3 Jack runes. The maximum poison resist here is what we're looking for, and as well the skills, which is going to help us reach our increased attack speed breakpoint. This amulet is not really best in slot. It's actually decent, but it's not the best. We need to max resistance slam and at least 50% POR for this one. In season 11 it's going to be a little bit easier to get that POR because of the new vampiric crafts, but that's going to be another topic for later. Gladiator's Bane is a big damage provider, as well as poison POR. We have Cannot Be Frozen here and 2 critical strike with this almost 25% damage increase. 3 sockets is great. It's actually easy to get. We fix our max stress here, and we finish it off with a gyro for more life. Boots with another 25% POR and resistances. Then one of the most important things here is 30 faster run walk. Very simple. Again, we use school hides, but this time, because we don't need all of the attack speeds, we're gonna use minus 25% target defense. Moving on, it's the nature piece that we spoke about earlier. I got it maybe 1 minute after it got posted, and I remember I was looking for a ring like this for maybe 2 weeks. So I got pretty lucky by being right on time to purchase this. The other ring that we use is self-crafted POR ring with some resistances and of course life. And last, we have a belt with max stress. You need to have max stress on a belt like this. POR would be great, but we couldn't find one all season. Maybe I was late. And life. Also strength. If you can get strength and life, it would be best in slot, but that's pretty much about it. When it comes to the skills, we don't change anything. When it comes to the stats, we don't change anything. There is no lightning damage in the Ratma fights. There is more fire, but we're pretty happy with 88%. If we were higher level, 98, 99, we would be able to get more hard points into resist fire. So we would be able to get 89% fire resistances. As I promised, I'll give you one of the best bossing tips that you can get, and that is lock your gear. So how I learned is my second attempt at tier 2 declone. I had absolutely the same sword guards, and I can tell you this was not a cheap item. This cost me about, the first one was about 30 high runes, and I say the first one because in my panic, but the fight actually makes your heart beat, so it's pretty intense. And while you're adding juves to your belts, I was trying to get at the very beginning the juves that are close on the top left, just so when later in the fight it's even more intense, I can use the one down here because it's easier and shorter mouse movement. What I didn't do is lock my gear. So what happens in the panic, while I was running away from declone, I was trying to put potions in my belts, and I end up doing this. So as soon as I did that, I had no defenses. I panicked, I couldn't pick it up, and at the same time declone just one-shot me. And I was left with this. So don't do my mistake. Like, subscribe, and ciao.